Hi, I'm Shelley Emma with the Big Life Project. I started the project to help people focus on leading more meaningful, more joyful lives. My guest today is Kimberley Cambron. On her blog, she writes, "I am taking giant leaps into a new life. I am just not a baby steps kind of girl. I love doing things that make me nervous." And I know Kimberley, so I know that by nervous, she means scared, spitless. She recently spent 3 months in Haiti as a communication consultant with the relief organization JPHRO. Back home, once more, she's finding her voice to write her own story instead of copy for a client. Today, Kimberly's talking with me about opening new possibilities in her life. Kimberly, thanks for being part of the project.
Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you here today. So, talking about opening new possibilities. When you're going down the road, what compels you to take a big leap into something new?
I think a big part of that, the big factor in that is that I'm a feeler person. I'm an intuitive person rather than a thinking person. And there's something really deep inside of me that knows I need growth, knows I need change, knows I need that kind of excitement. It's instinctive. And that's as much true in my business as my personal life. And in fact, I'm so intuitive about that stuff that sometimes it's very difficult for me to explain to people why I've made the choice I have or why I'm doing the thing I had, which was pretty awkward in business. And in my personal life too, it's pretty awkward there too. So what happens is something deep inside of me resonates with something that I see, an opportunity that opens up. And I just know that it's going to lead me towards a more expansive life or an educational opportunity or something. And because I don't process things logically, which is normally not a gift, it is a gift in this case because it never occurs to me that there are impediments or that it's not possible or that I have no idea how to make it happen. So I just kind of go for it, which was definitely true in my recent work going to Haiti. That was not a logically thought through process.
So part of the process, I know, is that a lot of these decisions feel scary to you and to people around you. So how do you work through fear? Even if it resonates with you, it doesn't mean you don't feel fear. How do you work through that to go ahead and take a leap?
Well, the funny thing about the feeling part of me is that the excitement about the adventure and the possibility of growth and the adventure kind of eclipses all of that fear part of me. I don't even notice I'm having it until I'm already in it and can't turn back around. So I often find myself standing in the middle of something that I've brought on myself saying, "Oh my God, what the hell have I done?" And but at that point, it's usually too late to turn back. I'm usually in a position where I've actually already gotten on the plane or I'm already doing it. And so I have to just either have to go push more through it. And that actually makes it sound more accidental than it really is. The truth is that that's kind of the way I do change. That's kind of the way I do growth, is that I throw myself into impossibly scary situations and then grow from that. Some people do yoga and meditate. I do things that scare the hell out of me. So it's all a matter of choice. But then there's still the fear factor because I do actually feel the fear eventually. So the fear is when I'm standing in the situation, I realize I'm scared. And then what are my coping mechanisms for something like that? And I have a few. The first one is neurotic freaking out. That is my go-to fear management technique. I'm not somebody that you would normally associate with an adventurer. I come from a long line of extremely anxious people. My family heritage is anxiety riddled. And so you wouldn't naturally look at me and say, "Oh, she's just a wild adventurer." But fortunately, I'm on medication for anxiety. And I mention that every chance I get because without the medication to treat my anxiety, I'd still be wringing my hands in the kitchen and not moving off the dime on anything. I credit a fantastic family, fantastic partner, fantastic support system, and the medication that keeps me at a balance so that when these things scare me, I'm not just generating a bunch of scary things in my mind about what's the worst thing that could happen, which I am generally prone to do anyway. The other coping mechanism I have is just choosing the adventure, every minute of the adventure. And this interview today, for me, even, I'm used to being on the other side of the camera. So this is kind of scary for me. And under normal circumstances, I avoid this at all costs. I prepare other people to be in front of the camera. I do not get in front of the camera. So this is, I just test that with me all the time. Anything that is really, really scary for me usually means something I need to try, I need to do it. So I keep choosing the adventure. Even while I was in Haiti, I was already there. So I could either experience fully the adventure of being in Haiti, or I could curl up in a fetal position in my room and just hope to God the 3 months would just get over fast. And believe me, that's possible. You can do that. I could just have been plugging away in my room and then never gone out and experienced anything. And that brings me to the third coping mechanism, which is the storyteller in me. And I love a good story. This is part of my heritage too, along with the anxiety. I love telling a good story. And I have found that the story of, I was going to go to Haiti, but then I decided to stay home, is just not a really good story. And so sometimes that pushes me into the adventure of it, just because I'm going to get a story out of it and I know it. So I have that too.
Whatever works, right?
Right. Well, so great partner. So there is that too. I have a really great partner who helps me work through the fearful details around the practical things. So is everything going to fall apart while I'm gone? And she is insanely supportive in a way that, and she's actually enchanted by the crazy way I approach my personal growth. And so she finds it exciting that I say, should I go to Nepal? Okay, yeah. Should I go to Haiti? Should I do this crazy thing in the desert? And she goes, yes. The answer is yes, because she's kind of enjoying the process. So she is engaged in helping me with the practical details and supporting the craziness that is my yoga.
Craziness yoga. You could go somewhere with that, Kim.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe I can. Yeah, I'm going to start teaching that.
That's what you're here for. So that's your immediate support system, your partner, but there's still other people in your life, and I know that they are not always approving and supportive and wildly excited for you.
No.
Sometimes they're scared for you. If you're not scared enough, they'll be scared for you and tell you about it. How do you deal with that range from, fear to concern to disapproval from other people in your life?
Yeah, I've found that's really, really hard for me, and I found that a very interesting thing to see who shows up as really going gangbusters with me for it, and who is like fearful for me, and it's really hard because I'm an approval-seeking person. I want people to say, "Oh, you're wonderful, and that's great, and go." And I'm behind you 100%. I mean, who doesn't want that? Of course, everybody wants that. But I think everyone around me is getting used to the crazy way I do things now. That does not mean that it makes them thrilled and happy. It makes some people in my life very, very nervous, and I have to look at that as love and concern for my well-being. And because of that, and because I really think the big fabulous adventure is living, I am very careful. So going to Haiti for me is not going and living in a tent along the side of a scary neighborhood in a street. I went with an organization that is extremely careful about the people that work there. I followed the rules. I do not get myself into situations where I shouldn't be in, because I do want to come back. And so I don't take unnecessary risks. I am careful for them. But in the larger sense, life is risky. Life is dangerous. Can be. And I don't want to get so wrapped up in that element of it that I don't take any chances, that I don't take any risks. And a few years ago, I realized that I wasn't taking the big risks, and I was modeling that for my kids. And I want my kids to take chances. I want them to step out and do things that feel a little scary. And so they, as much as anything or a reason that I do the crazy things that I do. I want to model that for them so that when they get the opportunities, they'll just go out and do it. And so I just have to have the mantra in my head when I'm getting all of the people saying, why Haiti? Why Nepal? Why are you doing these things? I have to say, okay, I think I'm doing what is in the best interest of my family as a whole. Maybe not everybody's favorite thing right now, but in the interest of my family as a whole, I need to do things that are more out there and model that for them. Mm-hmm. Did I answer your question?
Yes. So, Kimberly, you've talked also about the dichotomy of living the big adventure, the story that you get to tell people about. But after one big adventure, what happens?
I tell you, this part's really tricky because I'm finding it very difficult, frankly, coming off of the big Haiti adventure. And part of that is it's really addictive to be the woman that's going to Haiti, the woman that's in Haiti, the woman that just got back from Haiti. And now it's addicted to be that part of the adventure. But then at some point, if I don't bring everything from that experience back to my community and I don't process it and write it down and share the story of that, then I've cheated myself out of a big part of that adventure. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I find myself wanting to go somewhere else. I find myself wanting to pack up the kids and go travel somewhere else. But that is, I think, partly based in the fact that it's going to be really hard to tell the stories. And it has been really hard. I'm a very sensory-oriented person. I take everything in with all of my sensory information, and I find that it's really difficult for me to relate an experience in words easily, whether it's written or in conversation. And so I get frustrated a lot, and it's really easy to abandon the process because it's frustrating and difficult and just say I can't talk about it or it's too difficult. But that's not enough. That's not enough for me. And part of my dream was that I want to be a writer. And so what I'm finding is that I'll work with something and I get really frustrated in the process of writing. The writing has become part of the adventure, but it is a messy, less glamorous part of the adventure and a lonelier part of the adventure. But so I'll write something and it's not quite getting it, and it's very an angst-ridden process, or I'll talk to somebody and I'll finish the conversation and they feel like I've told them a bunch of stuff and I feel like I've told them nothing about that particular thing they've asked me about. But every piece I go through, I get a little closer to the truth of what that meant to me. And every once in a while, I do come upon a really good explanation of a certain element of my adventure, whether it was Haiti or what's been going on the past 2 years or 3 years. At some point, I do hit the right language, and that is a quiet victory. That feels very in alignment with the other part of this that should be my adventure that I choose, which is the writing part. But it is a daily thing. I have to process a lot and share things a lot, but I do feel like it's important to share my experience, the whole of it. And so to escape and go find another adventure is escaping. Yeah. And I'm going to do that with the adventure of this.
Well, I think, like you said, it leaves something on the table.
Yeah.
And part of why you're adventuring is to get everything that you can. So you have taken several big leaps now. And so one of my questions is it getting easier? Does practice actually make it easier to do the next one?
Yes and no. So I'm constantly pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. I love my comfort zone, but it's so warm and cuddly in there, but nothing exciting ever happens in there. So in that way, constantly pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone is not easier. It's always difficult to do that because my comfort zone widens a little bit, but then I still have one. And then the adventure doesn't happen there anymore, and I have to push out a little more. But I am trusting myself more. And so that part is easier. And that's come as a result of a lot of experiencing these things and getting the good out of them, and finding out things about myself and about humanity and about myself as a writer that was really valuable. And so it makes the challenge of accepting the crazy things easier. It makes it like, okay, yes, I will go for that. I'll do it. And I think differently about new possibilities all the time now, in a different way than I would have 5-10 years ago. And I love that. I love that I'm thinking about the new possibilities. Again, doing this video interview, I don't think I would have said yes to it a year ago. It would have been too scary, but I'm interested in challenging that as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of leads into another question, which is, we've talked about taking big leaps and big adventures, but really opening possibilities for yourself, or opening yourself to possibilities, that happens at a little tiny level, or it can, every day of our lives.
Yes.
Do you find that doing it for the big challenges makes it easier to do it on any given day for the little ones too?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there is, okay, I said absolutely very quickly, yes and no again, because I'm constantly surprised at what I consider to be a big challenge, because like this should not be a big challenge for me, but it is, and it's scary for me. But doing things like speaking to somebody in a language that I don't speak and trying to communicate with them to get somewhere I don't consider that a big challenge. So that's not a hard one for me to take. But I understand what you're saying, and yes, there is, particularly with somebody that's anxiety-ridden, as I do more of this, it's easier for me to trust that there are many paths to growth. There are many things that are good and bad, and the risk of letting go of an opportunity that approaches me, that's one of the biggest risks that I'm having to manage right now. I'm getting a lot of people that are talking to me about, hey, you want to do this and you want to do that, and it feels risky and scary to me to say no to those now, because I'm afraid that's going to be the one that I should have done. And I feel like I have a lifetime of ones I should have done behind me, and that I've already missed so many of them. But so the challenge of saying, okay, I'm figuring out something, a new way to teach my kids things, a small challenge that I've never felt able to take on. That feels doable now, and I feel more excited about taking on that challenge. Putting my voice out onto the blog is a challenge I've never really fully embraced before, but I am now, and opening myself up to criticism and discussion and the like. I do find it easier to make those. It doesn't feel easier, but it is easier because I know that it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something about proving your own competency, proving your own ability to get through something, and that it will be okay. It's very important to know you can trust yourself.
Yes, exactly. And also, if I totally fail, if I totally screw it up, it's okay too. There were things that I did when I first got to Haiti that I was like, that is so wrong. I had wrong ideas about things, and I started things wrong, and it's recoverable. Everything's recoverable. It's okay if you look stupid. Yeah, and I'm totally willing to look stupid.
Thank God, Kim. No, really, it's weird how much power that fear has over us, how much that one fear of looking stupid, of not having approval, of not being admired, stops us from doing little things and big things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. All the time.
Yeah. So, Kimberley, for someone who wants to open new possibilities in their life, what's your best advice?
This one's an easy one. My best advice is to suspend disbelief. And what I mean by that is that I was a marketing and communications person in corporate life. I had a family and kids to support and get through school. I had no experience writing anything other than corporate stuff. And the thought of me doing international travel and working for an NGO and writing a book, that given the logic of my circumstances, that's impossible. If I had looked at the evidence of my life, what I wanted was not possible. There was no way to make that leap. But I took a couple of classes and realized how important those dreams were to me, and started opening up just a little place in my mind for that the possibility existed, and that I did not have to know how to get there. Mm-hmm. That I could just trust that if I wanted it and started making a small step in that direction, that it would open up for me. And for me, the small step was writing a letter to Sean Penn. Absolutely sure it wasn't going to be answered. And 3 months later, I was in Haiti for 3 months, and now I'm writing a book. So it is to suspend disbelief and take a small step in any direction of something you want. That would be my big advice. That helped me immeasurably. Mm-hmm. And continues to.
The biggest changes usually start with very small things.
That's
just
right.
Keeping them up, yeah.
That's right.
Well, Kimberly, thank you so much for adding your story and your voice to the Big Life Project. It makes it more valuable for everybody. I appreciate you sharing with us today.
I totally am a big fan of the Big Life Project, by the way. I'm really honored to be interviewed for it.
Awesome. Shameless plug, and I didn't even have to do it. Great.